What if I told you that living beyond 100 years is not a fantasy, not a genetic lottery, but a biological possibility hidden in your everyday choices? Imagine sitting across from a 103-year-old Nobel Prize winner. Sharp memory, clear voice, strong posture, curious mind, still reading, still thinking, still contributing to the world. Now imagine asking a simple question. What did you eat? We often assume that extraordinary longevity must come from rare medicine, advanced technology, or secret supplements locked inside laboratories. But what if the real secret is far more accessible? What if it's sitting in your kitchen right now? In the next few minutes, you're going to discover something powerful. The human body is designed to repair itself, defend itself, and renew itself if we give it the right signals. Every bite of food sends instructions to your cells. Some foods activate inflammation, others switch on healing pathways. Some weaken your blood vessels, others strengthen them. Some accelerate aging, others slow it down at the cellular level. And here's the most exciting part. Science now shows that the difference between aging normally and aging extraordinarily well may come down to what you consistently put on your plate. This isn't about dieting, it isn't about restriction, and it definitely isn't about complicated rules. It's about understanding how food talks to your body, how it influences your immune system, your brain, your metabolism, and even your DNA. By the end of this speech, you will see food differently. You will understand why certain everyday ingredients can protect your heart, sharpen your mind, balance your blood sugar, and reduce silent inflammation that steals years from your life. You will discover how simple, repeatable habits can transform your biology over decades. So stay with me, because what you're about to learn could change not just how long you live, but how well you live. Let's begin. Food as medicine is not a modern trend. It is a biological reality grounded in human physiology. Every time you eat, you are not just consuming calories for energy. You are delivering biochemical instructions to trillions of cells in your body. Nutrients interact directly with genes, hormones, enzymes, and immune cells, influencing how your body repairs itself, fights disease, and ages over time. This concept is deeply supported by scientific research in fields such as nutritional biochemistry, molecular biology, and preventive medicine. When we say food is medicine, we mean that certain natural compounds in whole foods activate the body's built-in defense systems. For example, polyphenols in berries, catechins in green tea, sulforaphane in broccoli, and omega-3 fatty acids in fish do not merely nourish. They regulate inflammation, improve blood vessel function, enhance immune surveillance, and protect DNA from oxidative damage. These effects happen at the cellular level. Chronic diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and neurodegeneration often begin with silent inflammation, oxidative stress, and metabolic imbalance. Specific foods counteract these processes before they become clinical problems. Food also influences angiogenesis, the process by which the body forms new blood vessels. Balanced angiogenesis ensures that tissues receive proper oxygen and nutrients while preventing abnormal vessel growth that may support tumor development. Certain plant-based foods naturally help regulate this process, maintaining vascular health without pharmaceutical intervention. In addition, nutrients affect stem cell activity, which is essential for tissue regeneration and repair. A diet rich in diverse plant compounds supports the renewal capacity of organs and slows biological aging. The gut microbiome further demonstrates how food functions as medicine. Fiber-rich foods feed beneficial bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids, compounds known to reduce inflammation and strengthen the immune system. A healthy microbiome improves digestion, metabolic regulation, and even brain health through the gut-brain axis. In contrast, ultra-processed foods disrupt microbial balance and promote chronic inflammation. Importantly, food-based healing works gradually and cumulatively. Unlike drugs that target a single pathway, whole foods contain thousands of bioactive compounds that work synergistically. This synergy creates broad protective effects across multiple biological systems simultaneously. The body responds to consistent nutritional signals, adapting toward resilience and repair when given the right inputs. Viewing food as medicine shifts responsibility from reactive treatment to proactive prevention. Instead of waiting for disease to appear, daily dietary choices continuously instruct the body to maintain balance, repair damage, and optimize long-term function through natural biological mechanisms. Angiogenesis is the biological process through which the body forms new blood vessels from existing ones. It is one of the most vital systems supporting human life, because every cell in the body depends on oxygen and nutrients delivered through blood flow. From wound healing to organ repair, angiogenesis allows tissues to regenerate and maintain function. In the context of longevity, balanced angiogenesis is essential because both insufficient and excessive blood vessel growth can contribute to disease and accelerated aging. Healthy angiogenesis ensures that organs such as the heart, brain, and muscles receive adequate circulation. As we age, blood vessels can become stiff, narrowed, or damaged due to chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, high blood sugar, and poor dietary habits. Reduced circulation limits oxygen delivery, leading to fatigue, slower tissue repair, and cognitive decline. On the other hand, uncontrolled angiogenesis can support tumor growth, since cancers rely on new blood vessels to supply nutrients for expansion. Longevity depends not on increasing or decreasing angiogenesis indiscriminately, but on regulating it properly. Scientific research shows that certain foods contain bioactive compounds capable of naturally supporting balanced angiogenesis. For example, flavonoids in berries, catechins in green tea, lycopene in tomatoes, and omega-3 fatty acids in fatty fish help maintain flexible, responsive blood vessels. These compounds improve endothelial function, which is the performance of the thin inner lining of blood vessels. A healthy endothelium produces nitric oxide, a molecule that relaxes blood vessels and enhances circulation. Improved endothelial function lowers the risk of hypertension, heart disease, and stroke, conditions closely linked to shortened lifespan. Inflammation plays a central role in damaging vascular networks. Chronic inflammation weakens vessel walls and disrupts normal growth signaling pathways. Anti-inflammatory foods such as leafy greens, nuts, olive oil, and legumes help stabilize these pathways. By reducing inflammatory cytokines and oxidative stress, they allow angiogenesis to occur where it is needed, such as in healing tissues, while preventing abnormal vessel formation elsewhere. Metabolic health is also connected to angiogenesis. High blood sugar levels can impair small blood vessels, particularly in the eyes, kidneys, and nerves. Diets rich in fiber and low in refined sugars improve insulin sensitivity, protecting microvascular integrity. Over time, consistent dietary support for vascular health maintains organ vitality and cognitive clarity. Longevity is deeply intertwined with circulatory health because every organ's performance depends on blood flow. When angiogenesis is balanced and blood vessels remain strong, flexible, and responsive, the body sustains its capacity for repair, resilience, and long-term survival through optimized cellular nourishment and oxygen delivery mechanisms. Chronic inflammation is one of the most powerful drivers of aging and age-related disease, and this is why an anti-inflammatory diet plays a central role in longevity. Inflammation itself is not harmful. It is a natural defense mechanism. When you cut your skin or fight an infection, your immune system activates inflammation to protect and repair. The problem arises when inflammation becomes persistent and low-grade, silently operating in the background for years. This state, often called inflammaging, gradually damages tissues, blood vessels, joints, and even DNA. Modern lifestyles significantly contribute to chronic inflammation. Diets high in refined sugars, processed carbohydrates, trans fats, and ultra-processed foods stimulate repeated spikes in blood sugar and insulin. Over time, this metabolic stress triggers inflammatory signaling pathways. Fat cells, especially excess visceral fat around the abdomen, release pro-inflammatory cytokines that circulate throughout the body. These inflammatory messengers interfere with normal cellular function, impair blood vessels, and accelerate biological aging. An anti-inflammatory diet works by reducing these harmful signals while enhancing the body's natural repair systems. Whole plant foods are central to this approach. Leafy greens, berries, tomatoes, turmeric, ginger, nuts, seeds, and olive oil contain antioxidants and polyphenols that neutralize free radicals. Free radicals are unstable molecules that damage cells and promote inflammation. By neutralizing oxidative stress, antioxidant-rich foods interrupt the cycle that keeps inflammation active. Omega-3 fatty acids found in fatty fish, such as salmon and sardines, also play a critical role. These healthy fats help produce specialized pro-resolving mediators, compounds that actively turn off inflammatory responses once they have done their job. This regulation is essential because the body must know not only how to start inflammation, but also how to stop it effectively. Diet is the single most powerful factor shaping the microbiome. Fiber-rich foods such as vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, nuts, and seeds provide prebiotics, which are essentially fuel for beneficial bacteria. When these bacteria ferment fiber, they produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, acetate, and propionate. These compounds reduce inflammation, strengthen the gut lining, regulate immune cells, and improve insulin sensitivity. A strong gut barrier prevents harmful toxins and pathogens from leaking into the bloodstream, reducing systemic inflammation that accelerates aging. In contrast, Diets high in processed foods, refined sugars, and artificial additives reduce microbial diversity. Harmful bacteria can overgrow under these conditions, producing inflammatory byproducts. This imbalance, known as dysbiosis, has been linked to obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, autoimmune disorders, and neurodegenerative conditions. The connection between the gut and brain, often referred to as the gut-brain axis, demonstrates how microbial health influences mood, cognition, and long-term neurological vitality. Beneficial bacteria help produce neurotransmitters such as serotonin and regulate stress responses, both of which affect mental clarity and emotional stability in older age. Fermented foods further support microbiome diversity. Yogurt with live cultures, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, and other traditionally fermented products introduce helpful microbes that enhance ecological balance in the gut. Regular consumption of these foods may improve immune defense and reduce chronic inflammation markers. Polyphenol-rich foods such as berries, tea, dark chocolate, and olive oil also nurture beneficial bacteria while suppressing harmful strains. Microbial diversity is a hallmark of healthy aging. Studies of centenarians often showed distinct gut microbiome patterns associated with anti-inflammatory and protective functions. A diverse microbiome increases metabolic flexibility, allowing the body to adapt to stressors more effectively. Over time, consistent dietary support for beneficial bacteria strengthens immune regulation, enhances nutrient absorption, stabilizes metabolism, and protects against the slow inflammatory processes that contribute to biological aging and functional decline. Plant diversity refers to regularly consuming a wide variety of fruits, vegetables, legumes, herbs, whole grains, nuts, and seeds, rather than relying on a limited selection of foods. Each plant contains its own unique combination of vitamins, minerals, fiber, and thousands of bioactive compounds known as phytochemicals. These phytochemicals include polyphenols, flavonoids, carotenoids, glucosinolates, and anthocyanins, many of which function as antioxidants and anti-inflammatory agents inside the body. When you eat a diverse range of plant foods, you expose your cells to a broader spectrum of protective compounds that work together to enhance resilience and slow aging processes. Color is a practical indicator of plant diversity because different pigments reflect different beneficial compounds. Deep blue and purple foods like blueberries and purple cabbage contain anthocyanins that support brain health and vascular function. Orange and yellow vegetables such as carrots and sweet potatoes provide beta-carotene, which the body converts to vitamin A and uses for immune regulation and skin integrity. Dark leafy greens contain lutein and folate, essential for eye health and DNA repair. Red tomatoes supply lycopene, known for supporting heart and prostate health. By eating a rainbow of plant foods, you increase the likelihood of activating multiple biological defense systems simultaneously. Plant diversity also strengthens the gut microbiome. Different fibers and polyphenols feed different species of beneficial bacteria. A monotonous diet limits microbial diversity, while a varied plant-based diet promotes a rich and balanced ecosystem in the gut. Greater microbial diversity is consistently associated with lower inflammation, better metabolic control, and improved immune resilience. Since inflammation and metabolic dysfunction are key drivers of aging, microbial support through plant diversity becomes a foundational strategy for longevity. In addition, phytochemicals influence gene expression through epigenetic mechanisms. Certain plant compounds can activate genes responsible for antioxidant production and cellular repair while suppressing genes involved in inflammation. This means that plant diversity does not simply provide nutrients. It helps regulate how genes behave over time. Consistent exposure to these compounds may enhance the body's ability to adapt to stress, repair damage, and maintain organ function. Plant diversity also contributes to metabolic stability. Whole plant foods are naturally rich in fiber and water, which slow digestion and prevent sharp spikes in blood sugar. Stable glucose levels reduce oxidative stress and protect blood vessels. Over decades, this stability supports cardiovascular health, cognitive clarity, and sustained energy. Regularly consuming a wide spectrum of plant foods creates a layered defense system that nourishes cells, regulates immunity, supports microbial balance, and optimizes long-term physiological function. Polyphenols and flavonoids are naturally occurring bioactive compounds found in plant-based foods, and they play a critical role in protecting the body from cellular damage that accelerates aging. These compounds are not classified as essential nutrients like vitamins or minerals, yet their biological influence is profound. They function primarily as antioxidants and signaling molecules, interacting directly with cellular pathways that regulate inflammation, metabolism, and gene expression. Diets rich in polyphenols and flavonoids are consistently associated with lower rates of cardiovascular disease, neurodegeneration, diabetes, and certain cancers. Oxidative stress is one of the primary drivers of aging. It occurs when unstable molecules known as free radicals accumulate faster than the body can neutralize them. Free radicals damage proteins, lipids, and DNA, gradually impairing cellular function. Polyphenols counteract this process by donating electrons to stabilize free radicals, thereby reducing oxidative damage. Beyond this direct antioxidant effect, they also activate internal defense systems. Certain polyphenols stimulate pathways that increase the body's production of endogenous antioxidant enzymes, strengthening long-term resilience rather than providing only temporary protection. Flavonoids, a major subgroup of polyphenols, are abundant in foods such as berries, apples, onions, citrus fruits, tea, and dark chocolate. These compounds support vascular health by improving endothelial function and enhancing nitric oxide availability, which helps blood vessels relax and maintain healthy blood pressure. Improved circulation ensures efficient delivery of oxygen and nutrients to tissues, preserving organ function over time. Reduced vascular stiffness lowers the risk of heart attack and stroke, two major threats to longevity. Polyphenols also modulate inflammatory pathways. They can inhibit pro-inflammatory molecules, such as cytokines, and reduce the activation of transcription factors involved in chronic inflammation. By dampening excessive inflammatory signaling, they protect tissues from gradual damage that contributes to arthritis, cognitive decline, and metabolic disorders. In the brain, flavonoids support neuroplasticity and protect neurons from oxidative injury, potentially reducing the risk of age-related memory loss. Another important function of polyphenols is their interaction with the gut microbiome. These compounds serve as substrates for beneficial bacteria, which metabolize them into bioactive metabolites with enhanced absorption and potency. This symbiotic relationship further amplifies anti-inflammatory and metabolic benefits. Regular consumption of polyphenol-rich foods creates cumulative protective effects. Instead of acting as a single-target intervention, these compounds influence multiple biological systems simultaneously, including immune regulation, blood vessel integrity, mitochondrial efficiency, and DNA stability, supporting cellular health across decades of life. Metabolic health refers to how efficiently the body converts food into energy, while maintaining stable levels of blood sugar, insulin, lipids, and inflammatory markers. It is one of the strongest predictors of long-term vitality and lifespan, because metabolic imbalance gradually damages nearly every organ system. When blood sugar levels rise sharply and frequently, the pancreas releases insulin to move glucose into cells. Over time, repeated spikes can lead to insulin resistance, a condition in which cells respond poorly to insulin. This forces the body to produce even more insulin, creating a cycle that contributes to type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, fatty liver disease, and cognitive decline. Stable blood sugar is central to slowing aging. Excess glucose in the bloodstream can attach to proteins and lipids in a process known as glycation. This produces harmful molecules called advanced glycation end products, which stiffen blood vessels, damage collagen in skin, and impair organ function. These molecular changes accelerate visible and internal aging. Maintaining balanced glucose levels reduces glycation stress and preserves tissue flexibility and function. Diet plays a defining role in metabolic regulation. Whole foods rich in fiber, such as legumes, vegetables, and whole grains, slow the absorption of glucose into the bloodstream. Fiber forms a gel-like matrix in the digestive tract, moderating the speed at which carbohydrates are digested. This prevents sudden insulin surges and promotes sustained energy. Protein and healthy fats also help stabilize blood sugar by slowing gastric emptying and increasing satiety, reducing the likelihood of overeating. Physical activity complements dietary strategies by improving insulin sensitivity. Muscles act as glucose reservoirs, absorbing sugar from the bloodstream during movement. Regular exercise reduces circulating insulin levels and enhances mitochondrial efficiency, allowing cells to generate energy more effectively. Efficient mitochondria produce fewer reactive oxygen species, decreasing oxidative stress that contributes to aging. Healthy lipid balance is another aspect of metabolic health. Elevated triglycerides and low levels of protective HDL cholesterol are associated with inflammation and vascular damage. Diets emphasizing unsaturated fats from nuts, seeds, olive oil, and fatty fish improve lipid profiles and reduce cardiovascular risk. Chronic metabolic dysfunction often develops silently for years before symptoms appear. Supporting metabolic health through nutrient-dense foods, controlled carbohydrate intake, adequate sleep, stress management, and regular movement helps preserve vascular integrity, cognitive clarity, hormonal balance, and cellular energy production across the lifespan. Healthy fats, particularly omega-3 fatty acids, are essential components of long-term brain and heart health. Unlike trans fats and excessive saturated fats that promote promote inflammation and vascular damage, omega-3s function as structural and regulatory molecules within the body. They are incorporated into cell membranes, influencing membrane fluidity, receptor function, and communication between cells. This structural role is especially important in the brain, where nearly 60% of its dry weight consists of fat, and a significant portion of that includes docosahexaenoic acid, DHA, a key omega-3 fatty acid. In the cardiovascular system, omega-3 fatty acids support endothelial function, which governs the flexibility and responsiveness of blood vessels. Flexible vessels maintain healthy blood pressure and efficient circulation. Omega-3s also reduce triglyceride levels, decrease platelet aggregation, and limit the production of pro-inflammatory compounds derived from omega-6 fatty acids. By shifting the body's biochemical balance toward anti-inflammatory signaling, these fats help reduce the risk of atherosclerosis, heart attack, and stroke. Inflammation is deeply linked to aging, and omega-3 fatty acids help regulate inflammatory pathways at the molecular level. They serve as precursors to specialized pro-resolving mediators, such as resolvins and protectins, which actively turn off inflammatory responses after they have fulfilled their protective purpose. This ability to resolve inflammation distinguishes omega-3s from many other nutrients, as chronic unresolved inflammation is a major contributor to degenerative diseases. In the brain, DHA supports synaptic plasticity, which is the ability of neurons to form and strengthen connections. This process underlies learning, memory, and cognitive resilience. Lower levels of omega-3 fatty acids have been associated with increased risk of depression, cognitive decline, and neurodegenerative disorders. Adequate intake helps maintain neuronal membrane integrity, optimize neurotransmitter signaling, and reduce oxidative stress within brain tissue. Dietary sources of omega-3s include fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, and mackerel, as well as plant sources like flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts, which provide alpha-linolenic acid that the body partially converts into DHA and eicosapentaenoic acid. The balance between omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids in the diet is also important, as excessive omega-6 intake from processed vegetable oils can promote inflammation when not balanced by sufficient omega-3 consumption. Consistent intake of healthy fats supports mitochondrial efficiency, stabilizes heart rhythm, enhances cognitive performance, and reduces systemic inflammation, contributing to sustained physiological function across decades of life. Caloric quality over quantity emphasizes that the source and composition of calories matter far more than simply counting them. While total caloric intake influences body weight and metabolic balance, the biological impact of 500 calories from ultra-processed food is dramatically different from 500 calories derived from whole, nutrient-dense foods. Calories are units of energy, but food is also information. Each bite delivers macronutrients, micronutrients, fiber, antioxidants, and thousands of bioactive compounds that influence hormones, inflammation, gene expression, and cellular repair mechanisms. Highly processed foods are often calorie-dense yet nutrient-poor. They contain refined carbohydrates, added sugars, unhealthy fats, and artificial additives that rapidly elevate blood sugar and insulin levels. These sharp spikes promote fat storage, oxidative stress, and inflammatory signaling. Because such foods lack fiber and protein, they are digested quickly and fail to provide lasting satiety, encouraging overeating. This pattern contributes to weight gain, insulin resistance, and metabolic dysfunction, even when total calorie intake appears moderate. In contrast, nutrient-dense foods such as vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts, seeds, whole grains, and quality proteins deliver a complex matrix of nutrients that regulate appetite and metabolic processes. Fiber slows digestion and enhances fullness by stimulating satiety hormones like peptide YY and GLP-1. Protein supports muscle maintenance and thermogenesis, increasing the energy required for digestion. Healthy fats stabilize blood sugar and improve absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. These physiological responses demonstrate that calories from whole foods trigger beneficial hormonal patterns that support long-term health. Daily consistency is one of the most underestimated drivers of longevity because biological systems respond to repeated signals over time rather than isolated actions. The body does not transform based on a single healthy meal or 1 week of disciplined eating. Instead, it adapts gradually to patterns. Every day, cells interpret nutritional intake as information, adjusting gene expression, hormone release, immune activity, and metabolic pathways accordingly. When healthy choices are repeated consistently, these small signals accumulate into measurable physiological physiological change. Habits shape internal chemistry. For example, consuming fiber-rich foods daily stabilizes blood sugar patterns, supports gut bacteria, and reduces inflammatory markers. These changes may be subtle at first, but over months and years they create a metabolic environment that protects blood vessels, preserves insulin sensitivity, and maintains mitochondrial efficiency. In contrast, irregular patterns of overeating, processed food consumption, and sugar spikes repeatedly stress the same systems, reinforcing inflammatory and oxidative pathways. The body becomes conditioned to dysfunction when harmful inputs are consistent. Consistency also influences circadian rhythms and hormonal balance. Eating at relatively stable times each day helps regulate insulin, cortisol, and digestive enzyme production. Predictable rhythms optimize nutrient absorption and metabolic efficiency. Chronic irregularity, including erratic meal timing or frequent late-night eating, can disrupt these rhythms and impair glucose regulation. Over decades, this disruption contributes to metabolic disorders and accelerated aging. As we bring this entire journey together, the message is beautifully simple, yet scientifically powerful. Longevity is not an accident, and it is not reserved for a lucky few. A 103-year-old Nobel Prize winner does not reach that milestone through magic or mystery, but through daily biological alignment with the body's natural defense and repair systems. Every key note we explored points to one central truth. Food is not just fuel, it is information. It speaks directly to your blood vessels, your immune cells, your gut microbiome, your brain, and even your DNA. When you choose plant diversity, you activate natural defense pathways. When you prioritize fiber, you feed the trillions of microbes that protect your metabolism. When you include healthy fats, you stabilize inflammation and preserve brain clarity. When you focus on caloric quality rather than quantity, you nourish your cells instead of merely filling your stomach. And when you practice daily consistency, you transform small actions into lifelong biological advantages. Longevity is built meal by meal. It is shaped by what you repeatedly place on your plate. The body is constantly repairing, regenerating, and adapting. Give it the right tools, and it performs beyond expectations. Starve it of nutrients, overload it with inflammatory inputs, and it struggles silently for decades before symptoms appear. Living past 100 is not about extreme restriction or complicated biohacks. It is about eating foods that reduce inflammation, support angiogenesis balance, strengthen immunity, enhance DNA protection, and optimize metabolism. These are not trends. They are deeply rooted physiological principles. The extraordinary lifespan of remarkable individuals simply reflects what happens when science and daily habits align over time. Remember, every meal is an opportunity. Every grocery decision is a vote for your future self. Your fork is one of the most powerful medical tools you will ever hold. Thank you for investing your time in learning how to invest in your health. I truly wish you strength, clarity, vitality, and a long life filled with purpose. May your choices nourish not just your body, but your dreams. Good luck on your journey to 100 and beyond, and thank you.